And this is perfect for like the whole woman empowerment movement and just basically being yourself, man. Like it's not a man's world and you gotta just find your place in it and adapt. It's more like, I'm a woman and I'm gonna find a way to be so awesomely womanly that it's undeniable and men are even gravitated to it, which I think is dope. Today we talk about. So let's see. Next topic, we are gonna go into the history of Sacai. So, Bop, I've got right here for you. I've got the Sacai LDV waffles, and I did in an unboxing dedicated video for these and the blazers. I actually prefer the blazers to these, and I prefer this colorway to the blue colorway, although I feel like that one's selling for much better on the resale market, but it is what it is. But these are just gorgeous, man. I mean, come on, son. Here's a thumbnail for those watching on YouTube. But yeah, I figured, I always like to get into the history of these issues, and this is a popular one. I know a few people have already beat me to the punch. I've just been like so burnt out from all this other stuff I'm doing. I should have prioritized this video, and I had full intention to, but then all this other ish came up, but y'all don't want to hear about that. Let's get into the history, baby. So let's read out some facts. It was founded in 1999 by young mother Chitose Abe. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Mad Americans are going to pronounce that Chitose Abe, but it's not Chitose Abe. It's Chitos or Chitose Abe. That's my best guess. Japanese clothing brand Sacai had established itself as one of fashion's cult heroes over recent years, following 8 years working at Comme des Garçons, also known popularly with the kids as CDG. First as a pattern maker and later for Junya Watanabe. I forget what brand that was with, although I feel like, if I remember correctly, they met at CDG, but I could be wrong about that. And we may talk about that more later in the story here. So let's keep moving here. So Abe initially created the brand after becoming tired of the sartorial restrictions of new motherhood. And what basically meaning the sartorial meaning like the world of tailoring and fashion and clothing, to put it loosely. I know fashionistas are going to probably come after me for that very loose definition, but it is what it is. And so she was under the direction and support of Rei Kawakubo, and with that support, the label flourished. And they had their first runway show in 2011, and they've accrued over 175 international retailers, which is wild. This brand is less than a decade old. And for a fashion brand, especially in the post-2000 era, I feel like this is unheard of. So you got to know they know what they're doing. Both the clothing itself and the philosophy behind it hold a distinct message of female strength, but without the overtly masculine aesthetic that is often considered integral for successful women, which I'm going to have to read that again because I feel like I have to simplify that, even just from myself. Okay, so basically saying they want to, because she is a woman, and this is perfect for like the whole woman empowerment movement and just basically being yourself, man. Like it's not a man's world and you got to just find your place in it and adapt. It's more like, I'm a woman and I'm going to find a way to be so awesomely womanly that it's undeniable and men are even gravitated to it, which I think is dope. All without having to appeal to male sensibilities, being yourself and being an authentic self that is a form that really draws in a male audience. The same way women are drawn into male type things like sneakers, men only colorway sneakers, or certain clothing articles. Like Supreme doesn't make any clothes for women, but women still wear Supreme. Why? It's not made for them, but know what I mean? So this is kind of a similar way of approaching it, where you're like, you know what? I'm a woman. I'm designing as a woman, but I'm designing something bigger than me / women, where like even men can look at this, or non-gender fluid binary something, whatever the appropriate term is, can look at this and be like, yo, I just think this is dope. I'm not even thinking about gender right now. I think that's what they're going for here. Abe herself proclaims, I think our creations attract women who want to feel empowered by clothes, but still don't feel the need to wear a power suit. So it's like, you don't want to have to just wear a suit to feel taken seriously by men. And you don't want to just, I feel like I'm talking too much. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, so she says, I make clothes as a business, not as an artist, which I think is very integral to her success, as we'll get into in a second. It is this determined focus on success teamed with an innate aptitude for understanding what women want that has resulted in such resounding international success. And I agree, man. You cannot just be out here doing ish for yourself. Selling out has a very bad rap, and as it should in certain contexts, but in other contexts, it needs to be celebrated because you're bringing to market, quote unquote, something that people want. You want to bring something people want. And ideally, that thing that people want is something genuine and authentic from you and something that you enjoyed bringing to them. And that's the happiest place to be in the world. An artist puts out music that they love. People love the music, and it goes round and round, a big old cycle. Hangover triggered. Let's see. All right, so going off of that last statement, how she makes clothes as a business and not as an artist. And she probably, if I may paraphrase for her, she probably meant not just as an artist, because it is art. Let's not get it twisted, right? But she says, I say this is cool because it shows that being a good business means serving a need. I mean, this is basically what I just said, but I wrote it down, so I'm just going to read it. Serving people, not just yourself. And business gets a bad rap as just something you do to make money, but in its true form, doing good business is doing good and desirable work. With that said, it's not a surprise that her Nike collab has had not too much backlash as far as, ew, these are ugly. And then later you come to appreciate them. Instead, I've heard nothing but good things about these and how much people like them. And think about it. Like I'm sure there's a handful of people that are looking at this sneaker as I hold it up for the camera for those just listening. And you're looking at this. Some people out there are looking at this like, ew, that's gross, right? But I'll be honest with you. I've seen a lot more hate for Yeezys that first debuted as far as like new silhouettes. I've seen some hate for a lot of various models across many brands that just wasn't well received initially, but then it grew on people over time, especially once things calm down. You get some time to see it on people's feet. You get some time to see it digested in the market. You see some offshoots that come off later on. But this shoe, you were hearing nothing but good. I was hearing majority good things about this from the jump. So that's been kind of cool. And I think that lends itself to her work and her work style and her work ethos, which is, I want to bring something to market as a business. This is for real. This is not just me flexing like, I like this thing. If you don't like it, screw you. It's not like that. She actually genuinely wants you to enjoy it. And good on her, man. I enjoyed it. And I think everyone else that's bought a pair enjoys them. And she learned this lesson actually while she was at CDG, Comme des Garçons, which actually, for those that don't know, that's also a Japanese-based brand, even though it sounds French as fuck. The fact that, so she says, the fact that I am both designer and president is the single most important reason why Sacai can remain free. And this is also important because she doesn't have to appease bean counters, accountants, suits, corporate money interests, because a corporation's job, a pure business's job, is to purely bring in money. That's it. Mauricia triggered. But this, on the other hand, when she owns the business and runs the show on her own, that allows her the freedom to be able to come up with something like this. Because who else would really commission this? And there's countless stories of sneakers that either had a hard time coming to market or just never did come to market because no one wanted to greenlight them from the corporate side. Because at the end of the day, if they own the business, they own the decisions. Sorry. Let's keep moving. So let's go back to, Chitose's youth. She was born Chitose Sacai. So the name of the brand is actually her maiden name. So there's that. And she was born in a city called Gifu, unless it's Gifu, Gifu, just north of Nagoya. And her mother was a seamstress. So that's where she encountered fashion, obviously, textiles from a very young age. And she grew up in a remote part of Japan, where apparently her commute to school was 2 hours every day. Holy shit. Damn, son. Where'd you find this? If I may.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So let's keep moving here. We have, let's see. Oh, this was another key thing about her characteristics. She really hates looking the same as someone else. So I guess around the time that she was growing up, bell-bottoms were a big thing. The jeans that kind of like look like friggin' lamps at the bottom. So weird to me. They were a big thing in elementary school, and she thought they were really boring, so she had her mom kind of tapering the legs to make them slimmer, which is hilarious because I'm learning about her now when slim is in, not bell-bottom. So just think about how especially at that age, to have that kind of wherewithal to like think bigger and think outside of yourself and think different. Apple trigger. That's amazing, man. That just makes me like her so much more. Although I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely one of those guys that likes to go with the flow, likes to go with the crowd, indulges in pop culture, likes to be liked. So I want to be included and similar to people. But at the same time, I mean, I have my own individuality. I am a goblin, you know what I mean? I'm quite different than anyone I've ever met. So, you know, it all kind of ties in together, you know? She cites seeing a commercial for Issey Miyake. Love their cologne, by the way. So she remembers seeing a commercial for Issey Miyake on TV, and it was at that moment she realized that fashion designer was even like a possible career path. So she was like, damn, son, where'd you find this? And that's what she pursued. So back in 2015, Nike Lab and Sacai actually had their first collab. Actually, prior to that, they had a Nike Dunk, I find out. So they had a Nike Dunk series, and then they also had a Air Max 90 series, but this was women's only. And they're kind of cool looking. But yeah, man, the Sacai Dunks and the Sacai Air Max 90s. Pretty cool. And here we are now with these. So actually, let me fast forward to the Sacai Nike design, which actually I probably should have prepared a little bit sooner. Sorry about that, folks. I just picked this topic to do now because I feel like the more I put it off, the worse it's going to get. On Nike's sneakers app. So they basically said, in collaboration with Japanese high fashion label Sacai, two iconic Nike shoes were fused together for a hybrid double-themed design. This special edition silhouette combines the Waffle Daybreak, which Nike's been putting out a bunch of GR-type colorways now, along with the LDV. And it features double tongues, shoelaces, swooshes, co-branded Nike Sacai logos, day. Super, super dope, man. And as for the Blazers are a combination of the Nike Dunk and the Nike Blazer. So, again, same kind of thing. I didn't bring the Blazers with me, but I'll pop in some pictures if you're watching on YouTube. And then, yeah, the other special thing is the waffle sole, as you can see here. So the waffle sole is interesting because it's really at the core of Nike's roots. A lot of very keen history to Nike comes from that waffle sole because Bill Bowerman, one of the founders of Nike, along with Phil Knight, track and field coach at University of Oregon, and to try and help his athletes out, he wanted to create them a better traction track shoe. So he took his wife's waffle iron and actually used it to create the new traction pad, and it's very similar to what you still see on these old school Nike retros. So that's kind of the amazing story behind the waffle sole, and you still see inspirations of that to this day in a lot of Nike products. So that's kind of cool. And so, yeah, man, I really love the double themed design, the double swoosh. You get, the double laces, like they say, which I'm a big fan of. I know some people say they're not, but I love that they have the, the laces with a little bit touch of gray, a little touch of white. The tongues going one Nike Sportswear, the one behind it saying Nike Sacai, the Nike and Sacai logos on the insole, along with, on the heel, you get the Nike and Sacai kind of overlap in there. And this color combination is kind of interesting because you don't really see this too often. This green, especially this limey type green with this mustardy type yellow with a very standard orange, and then that black to kind of give that subtlest of bops towards the middle of the shoe, essentially. And what I do like about this black is it allows you to just pretty much keep the simple fit with a lot of black in it and have the shoes be the focus, which is kind of cool. But then you can kind of make shit really bop if you have like a little bit of orange to use or a little bit of green. Like the combinations are endless with this. And the blue-red pair is dope too for that reason. And I feel like a lot more wearable to a lot of people, which I totally understand. It just didn't draw me in as much as this one did. This one just looked wild, bro. So, there you go. That's the history of Sacai in a nutshell. Hypebeast history triggered. Trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to comment on with that shoe. But yeah, I think it's going to do very well in the resale market. At least it better. I freaking bought a few pairs with the hopes of selling them so I can pay for this thing for free. Not me. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about Sacai. I'll see if I can find more information for you. Or alternatively, give me the information. Put some more information in the comments, and I'd love to read them. And I'm sure other people would love to read them just to get a better sense of, more little tidbits about Sacai that I don't know. I always love when you guys reach out and say various little factoids that I either didn't know or forgot about and got a little reminder about. So that's always cool and appreciated, man. All right. And that was the sneaker history segment. We'll catch you on the following segment where we'll be talking about sneaker releases.